Everyone thinks you're insecure. They think you're hiding. They think something is wrong with you because your social media has no photos of your face. They're wrong, dead wrong. The real reason you don't post photos has nothing to do with insecurity. And when you hear what psychology actually says about people like you might finally stop apologizing for who you are. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you posted a photo of yourself online? Not a meme, not a quote, not a sunset. Your actual face. If you had to think hard about that, this video is for you. You've probably been judged for it. People wonder why you're so private. They assume you must have low confidence. They think you're antisocial, weird, or hiding something dark. Your family asks why you never share anything. Your friends post every meal, every trip, every outfit. And you scroll past, watch everyone perform their lives for strangers, and feel zero desire to join them. And honestly, a part of you wondered if maybe they're right. Maybe something is wrong with you. But what if the opposite is true? What if not posting photos is actually a sign of psychological strength that most people don't have? Here's the first truth nobody tells you. People who don't post photos often have a stronger sense of self. Let me explain what I mean. Most people post photos to get something. They want likes. They want comments. They want validation. They need the outside world to tell them they look good, they're living well, they matter. But you already know who you are. You don't need 100 strangers double tapping to feel confident. Your identity isn't built on notifications. Psychologists call this having an internal locus of validation. It means your sense of worth comes from inside, not outside. While everyone else is chasing hearts and comments like a drug, you're sitting there completely whole without any of it. That's not insecurity. That's the opposite. That's rare psychological independence. Here's the second truth. You understand something most people refuse to accept. Social media is a performance, not reality. Every photo posted is edited, filtered, angled, and selected from dozens of attempts. People post their best moments and hide their worst days. They show the vacation, but not the credit card debt. They show the smile, but not the tears from that morning, and you see through it. You always have. You refuse to participate in a game where everyone pretends to be happier than they are, not because you're bitter, but because you're honest. You don't want to perform a fake version of yourself for people who don't actually care. A study from the University of Pennsylvania found that people who spend more time on social media experience higher rates of depression and loneliness, not because social media is evil, but because constant comparison destroys mental health. You opted out of that competition, and that decision might be protecting your mind more than you realize. The third truth might surprise you. People who don't post photos often value real connections over digital ones. Think about it. What happens when someone posts a photo? They get likes from people who scroll past in 2 seconds, comments from people they haven't spoken to in years, attention from strangers who will forget them by tomorrow. Is that connection, or is that just noise? You prefer depth over breadth. You'd rather have 3 people who actually know you than 3,000 followers who know your highlight reel. You value conversations over comments, real presence over digital performance. This isn't being antisocial. This is understanding what actually matters. Research shows that people with fewer but deeper relationships report higher life satisfaction than people with hundreds of shallow connections. Quality beats quantity, and you figured that out before most people ever will. Here's something even deeper. Many people who avoid posting photos have heightened self-awareness. You think before you act. You question things others accept blindly. You ask yourself, why, when everyone else just follows the crowd? Why should I post this? Who am I trying to impress? What do I actually gain from this? Most people never ask these questions. They post automatically. They share compulsively. They're running on autopilot while their brain craves dopamine hits from every notification. But your brain works differently. You're reflective, thoughtful, maybe even a deep thinker who processes the world more carefully than others. This level of awareness can feel like a burden sometimes. It makes you different. It makes small talk exhausting and shallow interactions feel pointless. But it's also a gift. You see what others miss. You think what others don't. And you refuse to waste your energy on things that don't genuinely matter to you. Now let me address the elephant in the room. Some people genuinely don't post because of fear or past trauma. And if that's you, it doesn't make you weak either. Maybe someone used your photos against you once. Maybe you were mocked or bullied. Maybe you learned that visibility comes with pain. That's not insecurity. That's survival intelligence. Your brain learned to protect you, and it's doing its job. The difference is this: unhealthy avoidance feels like prison. Healthy privacy feels like peace. If you don't post and you feel calm about it, that's peace. If you don't post and you feel tortured about it, that might be worth exploring. But for most of you watching this, you don't post because you genuinely don't want to. And that's perfectly valid. Here's the final truth that ties it all together. Not posting photos might mean you're living more than documenting. There's a famous concept in psychology called the photo-taking impairment effect. Studies show that when people take photos of experiences, they actually remember those experiences less accurately. Why? Because their brain outsources the memory to the camera. Instead of being present, they're thinking about the shot, the angle, the lighting, how it will look online. Meanwhile, you're just there, fully present, actually living the moment instead of packaging it for an audience. You remember your experiences because you experienced them. You enjoy your meals because you didn't stop to photograph them. You connect with people because you're looking at them, not your screen. That's not weird, that's wisdom. Here's what nobody wants to admit. The constant need to post is the new addiction, and those who don't participate aren't broken. They're free. Society has normalized documenting every second of our lives. We've made it seem strange to live privately. We've made it feel wrong to exist without proving it online. But step back and look at it clearly. Who's really healthier? The person who needs constant external validation to feel okay, or the person who can live a full life without announcing it to the world? You're not insecure for not posting. You might be one of the few people who escaped a trap that everyone else is still stuck in. If you watched this and finally felt understood, drop a comment below. Tell me why you don't post photos. I want to know the real reasons from real people who live this way. If you want more psychology truths that actually see you instead of judging you, subscribe to LifeMind Gym and hit the notification bell. I make videos for the people who think different. Share this with someone who gets judged for being private online. They need to know there's nothing wrong with them. They need to hear this and remember this. You don't owe the internet your face. You don't owe strangers your life. You don't owe anyone proof that you exist. Your privacy is not a flaw. It's a choice, a rare one, a powerful one. In a world where everyone is desperate to be seen, you found peace in being invisible. That's not insecurity. That's freedom.